and so focused on being the smallest version of myself. I just harped so much, and the damn years just kept going by.
I was quick to quit, telling myself, like, maybe this isn't for me. When she said, I want to make these changes, I said, I'm down. I hold your hand along the way.
Sorry, I'm a
Oh,
crier.
you're good. What's going on, Nutrition Builds Strength? I never know when these things start. I will be completely honest. My internet is absolute trash in our new house. I always forget the camera's over here. Today, we have some very, very special guests. And I promise you, if you guys are listening right now, you guys are going to cry today because I make these two cry. So first, I wanted to introduce Kelvin and Lanice, tell you a little bit about them. I met Elle because Elle ran our social media for a minute, and Kelvin is her lovely man. But something I want to talk about today, because their story is so incredibly heart-wrenching. I want to talk about if those of you that have ever felt like no matter how hard you try, your body just won't change, like you're broken, like something's wrong with you. That's exactly where Kelvin and Lanice were. Also, I call them K and L, so we're just going to go with K and L. Elle's a dietitian. She felt extremely lost, and we'll get into her story that is filled with some awful shit. Kelvin was training for years, felt stuck, felt slow, felt sluggish, felt heavy, and they both had coaches who literally shamed them, humiliated them, and made them believe that they were the problem. But what if the problem wasn't them? And tonight we're going to break open the truth, the diets that failed them, the mindset shifts that saved them, and how they went from feeling broken to completely in control. Kelvin and Lanice, why don't you all introduce yourself really quick? Tell us about you guys.
Oh, well, I am Kelvin. I am 34 years old, currently reside in North Carolina, Lanice and I. And yeah, we started this fitness journey together around September of last year. It's kind of when we both delved first and said that we really want to make a change, and we held each other accountable and stuck to it.
Yeah. And I'm Lanice. I am 31 years old. And as Bradley was saying, I am a registered dietitian. Found MBS last May. And yeah, I'm thinking that, I'm working for them and I'm looking for a dietitian. And like, God has a funny sense of humor. He's like, no, they about to dietitian you. So just, yeah. So we're here.
You guys also have a big YouTube following. You guys are the absolute cutest. If you guys didn't already see the post from earlier today where I put up a picture of them, they are the absolute cutest. Make sure you follow their social media. We'll give them a plug after this. But let's dive right into this if you guys are ready. So, Lanice, you have one of the most gut-wrenching stories I think I've ever heard in my life, girl. One of the most gut-wrenching stories. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about how you, as a registered dietitian, you're supposed to have it all figured out, right?
Yeah, according to the world.
According to the world. But instead, you kind of felt like a fraud in your own career. Tell me a little bit about what that was like.
Ooh, where do I start? So originally, I didn't go to school to pursue nutrition. It was speech pathology, and never really had a good foundation for nutrition. I am a former athlete, so if you played high school sports, you know that nutrition isn't spoken about. You go to McDonald's before a game, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings if you win, and that's just how it works. And when I got to college, you get a meal plan, and I was just at Chick-fil-A probably in between class, after class, and eventually gained a freshman 30. So I've never had felt that just out of body experience before. So I decided to go on my own weight loss journey, so to speak. And I just got so motivated by that and helping other people, I decided to change my major to nutrition. After a series of events, I just kept getting a lot of attention, and it kind of went to my head a little bit. And we kind of spiraled down just the wrong path with nutrition, just over exercising, overdoing it. Then after college, the complete opposite happened again, gained even more weight than I did my freshman year, and tried to find some trainers, but I don't know, I just didn't find the right one. And honestly, for a long time, I just felt like I'm broken. Like I'm supposed to be helping these people with nutrition and I can't even help my damn self. Like, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with my approach? And I found MBS, and like everything just clicked and changed for the better.
Kelvin, I'm gonna hit you in a quick second. Lanice, you said something something that I harp on all the time. You said I was trying to find the right trainer. And for those of you that are watching right now, if you've had a trainer that's giving you a nutrition plan and it didn't work, it's not your fault. Okay. Trainers shouldn't be registered dietitians, and registered dietitians shouldn't be trainers. Point blank. Okay. I was a trainer. I was a strength and conditioning coach in Beverly Hills. I was also a sports nutrition specialist, not even close to a registered dietitian. But Now that I've spent the last 6 years, 5 years focusing all my energy on the nutrition side, my brain doesn't think about biomechanics the same way. It just doesn't. Trainers do not go through the same, even close to the same education that a registered dietitian does. When I was a trainer, I was a typical trainer that would say eat chicken and broccoli, tilapia and rice, and all the boring stuff. So if you have a trainer that's giving you a meal plan, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't.
No.
Kelvin, you were training, you were working with a coach, you were doing all the right things. Ladies, how many of you have said that to me directly? How many times have I heard y'all say that? Yet you felt heavy, you felt slow, you felt disconnected from your body. When did you realize that wasn't working?
I would say about 7 to 8 months of having a nutritionist. I believe I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time, and I was a mechanic. That was my previous career. So already a labor-intensive career. I felt tired after work, and then I was seeing a nutritionist that was helping me prepare my meal plan before and after work. So he would tell me, like, I told him my goals. I need to, kind of, shed some fat. I'm trying to get toned, but excessive amount of calories I was eating every day. He even told me to stop eating bread entirely, all carbs one day, which didn't make any sense. I ended up calling him 2 days later. I'm like, I feel awful. Why would I have to remove carbs? So he had me eating about 3,800 to 4,000 calories a day, even though I expressed that my goal was to lose weight.
How much? How much?
Around 3,800 to 4,000 calories. So like,
I can do that with Ben and Jerry's. No problem.
Exactly. It wasn't enough chicken and broccoli in the world, to get through the week. So I felt sluggish. I felt tired, but a lot of compliments from the guys at the gym and people I know, like, "Hey man, you're getting big, you're swole," things like that. But I felt sluggish. I still couldn't run. I couldn't run a mile anymore in like 9 miles, which was 9 minutes. That was my original miles because I just felt so lethargic every day. So it wasn't working. Yeah, I ended up just like stopping to put the nutritionist all together, have my own structured meal plan, my own nutritionist. Just found online, but it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me.
I see a polarizing parallel between the two of you.
Mhm.
Lanice, and if you guys, I want you guys to go check their social media. I'll make sure I'll put it in the comments after and all that. First of all, their joint social media is so cute. Kelvin is the biggest hype man in the world. They're adorable. You went the opposite of Kelvin. You at your smallest I see that, I'm like, oh girl, I know that girl because I was that guy. Because I used to compete. And I see pictures of me when I was like in that world a lot, like especially like pre-photo shoot or pre-competition. I was so gaunt that I looked shredded on camera, but I literally looked sick and I felt like trash. I had no energy. I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I was moody. I couldn't think straight. And when I look at those pictures of you, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror. Was that kind of your experience?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I don't know, it's very aesthetic driven. Like I thrived off of admiration and just compliments. I mean, that's the only thing I could think about or care about. I've always been, I guess, the bigger friend. And I don't know, like I remember just going out with my roommates, they'd get all the attention from the guys. And it was just like, finally, people were paying attention to me. And like, just that attention just goes to your head and you just think, well, whatever I'm doing now, I just got to keep getting that. As a college freshman, you're just in a different world. So yeah, I can definitely just remember like just being so focused on being the smallest version of myself. And in turn, it was like literally, physically, mentally, I was the smallest version of myself.
Yeah. Tell me more about that. That was when you say the smallest version of yourself. Now, like I said, I know personally like what that's like. Yeah, you think you feel great and you think you look great. And Lanice, at your smallest, tell me how tall are you and how much did you weigh at your smallest?
5'5" and about 145 pounds.
Okay, 5'5", 145. And granted, we're taking into account that you're a college freshman. When you say you were the smallest version of yourself, do you realize that now, or do you feel like you felt something then inside of you that knew, I feel like I'm chasing the wrong thing because I'm never going to catch it? Because no matter how close I get, I still don't catch it.
Yeah, I felt like everything in my life was calculated. Like nothing felt natural. Like if I wanted to go out with friends, it wasn't just going out with friends. It was very intricately planned. Like, okay, well, I need to make sure I do cardio for 2 hours and not eat all day so my stomach will feel flat. And then when we go out and we take pictures, like I could wear this dress. Like it was just, I mean, just even saying that, it's just like, I just feel for that girl, that version of me, like that felt like she needed to do all that, just to
1,000%.
be accepted.
To be accepted. Okay, I'm gonna get back. We're gonna dig into this.
Not
But honestly,
yet.
we're gonna dig in. But like anybody that's listening right now, like if you guys resonate with Lenise a little bit, do me a favor, give me a little thumbs up in the comment, drop a little fire in the comments, because I feel like that's something that nobody really talks about. You said you were chasing acceptance, and again, same. I was in the bodybuilding world. Okay, same. I was sub 5% body fat. I was sub 10% year round, but I never felt accepted by myself.
Mm.
By myself. So when I ask you now in hindsight, looking back, you talk about, you're saying two different things. Oh, they got all the attention. All my, this, I was always the bigger friend, but then like I started getting attention and felt good, but I didn't feel accepted. So who are you really trying to find acceptance from? I told you before this, I'm gonna pull tears, and that's something that's really important. So, and I bring this up, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because when you start, especially, look, Lenise was a college freshman. When I was competing, I was in my early 20s. Like most of you that are listening right now, y'all have kids. We've got families. You've got a job. You've got a career. You've got elderly parents you're taking care of. If you're going to start on this, that road is not going to be easy. It is going to be worth it. I promise you. But chasing the smallest version of yourself is a losing battle every single time.
Yeah.
Chasing the best and healthiest and strongest version of yourself, that's a different story. Because I feel like when we talk about fitness and weight loss and body image and things like that, men who actually feel the same as women do are afraid to speak up. And Kelvin, you're not that person. I'm not that person either. Let's say we can go back and you can talk to the version of you that was at the lowest point, telling you, you got to just do this because it's what men do. What do you think that did for you long run until you started with Nutrition Build Strength?
I was quick to quit. I'll tell you that right now. Like after I was done seeing the nutritionist, I was telling myself like maybe this isn't for me. You know, I saw the nutritionist. He gave me the meal plan. I couldn't commit to it, so I blamed it on myself because I couldn't commit to his meal plan and his idea of what was nutrition. Which now looking back, I'm like that was completely, not even, accurate to what I should be digesting, or any person on a daily basis, 3,800 calories, especially when my goal was to lose weight, So
Right.
yeah, I quit. I thought that, maybe the gym wasn't for me. So I was, wasn't consistent with it, things like that. So I stopped for like a year, then went back to the gym, just if I could just tell myself, like looking back, you just need to find the plan that works for you. And you need to remain consistent. This is where you're supposed to be. I think I've been more consistent in the past 7 or 8 months than I ever have been. This is the strongest I've ever been. I'm benching the most, I'm squatting the most, I'm back on my 9-minute mile. It's it felt terrific.
Good. I'm gonna go back to something that Lenise said too. Lenise does still eat Chick-fil-A. She just doesn't eat Chick-fil-A all the time. Actually, Kelvin, you want something? I mean, look, I can get down with some Chick-fil-A, some of their nuggets. I love their fries, but honestly, I love that one salad, not the kale salad. Kale is a decoration, not a vegetable. The one with the strawberries and the berries. You know which one I'm talking about? I don't know what it is. Anyway, you said that you quit the gym because the gym, I'm going to go out on a limb. I might put words in your mouth. Tell me if I'm wrong. You were intimidated stepping in there.
It was intimidating, but I always felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. And I thought, okay, if I can't digest all these calories per day, even though I'm lifting, I'm not going to hit this fitness goal, So yeah,
Right.
so I was inconsistent from that point on. So I think I stopped for like 6 months. I wasn't going 4 times a week like I was. But yeah, looking back, it just wasn't a nutrition plan for me.
And that's not what we do here. I tell people all the time when we talk about Nutrition Build Strength, I'm like, the science is the science. I don't care how you cut it, the science is the science. But how we put the pieces together, we're not going to make you conform to anything, because the way I eat, the way Lenise eats, Afton eats, Jennifer eats, Dawn eats, like that's just because like you guys don't have kids. You guys are gonna eat different. I've got my daughter from my previous marriage half the time. We have my soon to be stepdaughter from her previous marriage half the time, and that's a different lifestyle of eating. But you're not like, and there's no way that Jennifer and I, we've done the chicken and broccoli diet. There's no way I could do that at this point in my life. There's no way.
The kids will resent you.
No, trust. Actually, it's funny. Okay, now the other day she goes, "Daddy, can we have chicken, rice, and broccoli?" Literally, this little girl can house an 8-ounce bag of broccoli like it's going out. It's ridiculous. Kelvin, you have another. We're gonna just throw another range of things. You have ulcerative colitis since 2011.
That's right.
And the nutrition plan you were given definitely wasn't making you feel any better. Were you diagnosed at the time when you were given the plan?
No, I was diagnosed when I was 21, but when I was going through the plan, I think this was in 2021. So I was about 31, 32 years old. Yeah, 10 years
So
later.
I'm very familiar with ulcerative colitis. My father had it. When you were having the symptoms of ulcerative colitis, first, if those of you that don't know, Kelvin will tell you a little bit about it. What did that feel like mentally for you? And then now, because I know Lanice, I'm not even gonna say it. Lanice told me some cool stuff about your ulcerative colitis since you've been working with Nutrition Builds Strength. What is
Yeah.
it like physically now? And what's it like mentally for you now when it comes to, again, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it, your fear or not fear around eating?
The fear went away. And I think where the fear, it was more so guilt. So it was me telling myself that I couldn't eat certain things. And I think the phrase we were using as cheat days, we can no longer say that. So I don't even know why I was saying it to begin with. So like times we were having Chick-fil-A, we would call that a cheat day where there's no such thing. We don't say that anymore. Like food is, there's no such thing as bad food. You can eat what you want to eat, but everything in moderation. That's really big for us. But with my UC, I was diagnosed with 21. I mean, that was also like the skinniest I was, but I also wasn't hitting the gym at that age either. That wasn't a priority to me. But I was always told like that's something you should definitely consistently do, just as an adult. Continue showing up for yourself. But yeah, I didn't prioritize nutrition. Then I just had a very labor intensive job, so I said I'll work out at some point, but it wasn't anything that I was really focused on. But yeah. But yeah, it's
So
affected my
now,
GI health my whole life. So I've always been mindful of what I eat, especially my stress, stress levels and things like that. But yeah, always just mindful of what I eat, what I'm putting into my body, what I'm consuming. Yeah.
Kelvin, Lanice has told me a lot about you. So I was like, well, why you know so much? I feel like I can ask you guys honestly. Now, we've all been there, and mine's most recently. I still haven't shut that little voice up, but we've all looked in the mirror. And I want you guys to know, Kelvin's a handsome dude. I don't know how tall this man is. This man's a tall man, okay? And Lanice the dietitian. She was lit like those. Lanice was like she was teeny tiny, like you could break her in half. And I think we all said some really shitty things to ourselves in the mirror. Can you tell me what the worst thing you've said to yourself in the mirror was?
Oh, how long do you got? No, really. No one will ever want you.
Ooh.
You don't deserve to be a dietitian.
All these things that have literally nothing to do with your physical appearance or your health.
Yeah.
Kelvin?
I don't know if it's the worst thing that I've ever said to myself, but one of my favorite quotes is the worst thing a person can do is not be present in the only life that you have. So I wasn't really conscious of like how this person's fitness goal just wasn't aligned with what my goals were. So I was thinking that I shouldn't be in the gym or I shouldn't be eating these meal plans because it didn't work for me and I didn't get the results I wanted in the 4 or 5 months. So clearly, it's me and just move on to something else or stop working out. So
I want to say something to that. I think I had a lot of resentment, especially graduating college. I would just harp on, man, I used to be this. I used to be this. And I would just harp so much and the damn years just kept going by. Like you're just so stuck in the past. And another part of me was so stuck in the future. Okay, if I just work out, I'll get back to where I was. And I mean, the beauty is in the present, like what you're doing right now, the habits that you're doing right now. And that's something like MBS has taught me, like just live in the moment, take things day by day. You got to wake up today, like, what are you going to do with it? Like whatever you did this weekend, like that's okay. Like brush it off, and like segue into having a trainer that would just, I'll meet him on a Monday and be like, oh my God, I saw your tracker. Like, why'd you eat this and that? So I think MBS has just taught me to seize the day, make the most out of it. And damn, like over time, you'd be surprised, like that person that you're chasing or past, present person, they're right there.
That person that most of us are chasing, that's you're talking about. You were a freshman in college. I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I could be a selfish asshole because I had nothing to worry about other than me, myself, and I. So it didn't matter. I didn't have a daughter. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a fiance. I didn't have I didn't have parents. Like that. No, that's different. Let's get to the turning point though. I want to go deep into this coach literally stalking your Instagram because that's the absolute most ridiculous and crazy batshit thing I've ever heard. But Lanice, you were on the typical bodybuilding diet. You were eating chicken, spinach, eggs, grapefruit every single day, and you were terrified to post food on Instagram because your coach was watching you. What was the moment where you finally broke? But I'm not talking about the breaking point where you broke down. I'm talking about the breaking point where you're like, enough is enough.
things you told me this person said.
For her, I mean, she would, like I said, call me out in front of class and like tell everyone, oh, this is the dietitian, guys. Like she should know all this. And like, this is what she ate this week. And I walked out of class. Like that was my turning point. I was just like, you know what? I leave here with, you know, some pounds lost, but I'll leave here with my respect and my dignity. That was like a turning point for me, probably in the worst way, because then I felt like even more of a failure. And then for 2 years, I just kept like kind of going down that spiral, like, oh, woe was me. But you know what? I mean, in hindsight, I'm glad things worked out the way that they did. I'm glad that I left like with my respect, because a lot of people don't. They like the mean trainers. They like people shit talking them. With MBS, it's definitely like the opposite. That's what I love the most. I prefer people leading with love and not hate or ridicule. I mean, maybe that motivates someone, or just rather have respect. I don't care what I look like at the end of this. Like, I love myself more.
And it shows. Now, Elle, I'm going to ask you, because I love how you said you went down a path for 2 years, because people think it just that switch flips overnight. No, it doesn't happen, because you don't know what's happening when it's happening, or the frog in boiling water. Can you tell me, or do you remember the moments leading up to that breaking point, what that would feel like in your body versus what it feels like in your body now?
Okay, we were moving in May. This is like when I met MBS.
Okay.
Right, the first move.
First meeting.
So we had things just like scattered around the house, and it's actually like my first progress picture in the app. And I remember I was like in a bra and like leggings, and then I just like got a glimpse and was like, whoa. Like, what have you done? No. But seriously, I did not recognize myself. Like, I was already stressed from moving, and I was like, God damn, like something's got to give. And at the time, like I just, you know, met with you guys, and I'm like, you know, you work with a nutrition company, like I know they have this free calculator, like why don't you try to do this yourself, you know?
I love how
that's
you
when
didn't be like, hey, can I work with one of the RDs? Like, I love how you didn't go that route first.
no. And I mean, it worked for a while, but yeah, anybody can use a macro calculator, but I mean, what MBS does is just like so much deeper than that. Yeah, like words can't explain that.
Elle and I had a conversation, and everything was happening with their move, and she looked, I came to her with a really hard conversation, and then she came to me with a really hard question, and she said, Bradley, she goes, just tell me that I can still work with Luciana, because I cannot lose MBS. And I will never forget that, because that was one of the most powerful statements that to this day, I promise you, rings loud in my ears. That lives rent free happily. Kelvin, you saw Lanice changing. You are the biggest hype man ever. I wish I could pull this stuff up on social media. Lanice will do it with her YouTube ever. You are the biggest hype man. You saw her changing, but you didn't jump right in right away. And that's, I feel like, the situation with most spouses or significant others. But what was it like for you watching her transform while you, I don't want to say you were stuck, but you weren't moving in the right direction? And then what finally made you say, okay, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid too?
I had a job where I worked evenings, so like I would come home late in the evening, and even though I'm tired and groggy from work, she would fill me in about her day, and she would speak so highly about MBS and you, and like the program, we're doing this, and like I'm just like, you know, day by day goes on, it was so consistent, just keep positive, good news. And then around, I think it was the end of August, I was starting my bachelor's degree in software engineering, which I'm currently pursuing, so I had a lot of free time. So I just told her, I said, you know what, let's do it. You know what I mean? You've been doing this for months. It makes you happy. And I trust her. So I was like, okay, let's, you know, hit the ground running. So
I hope
picture.
I hope you trust her.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not, you told me this is a great program. Let's go for it. So like, I think August 27th, took my first progress picture. And we just, you know, calculate our macros right there. And I was just like, you know, literally just like night and day. I told myself, you're not eating out multiple times a week anymore. We're going to limit this to maybe Saturday and Sundays, macro days. It was really just like one day conversation. Like, we're doing this together now, and we're going to hold each other accountable. And that was it. So,
and you know what? I tell people all the time, the reason we don't talk about men's nutrition a lot, because men are just stubborn bulls. We think we can do everything ourselves, until there's the few that are like, you see the missus doing it, you're like, and you realize, you're like, oh, so she's not resigning herself to a life of mediocrity and just like, all right, so I'm just gonna let it all go because I'm happy now. And you're like, man, I gotta step up. I can't just be bald and old one day. Like, that's not gonna work. But you experience both sides of the coin. You experience working on yourself by yourself with all literally. And when I don't say that, take a shot at Kelvin. Kelvin, you are the biggest. You are like, if every spouse can see Kelvin and Amanda Martin's husband, Kelvin and Amanda Martin's husband, if the two of those, I'm like, if every spouse can just get like a 10th of them and be like, just support your spouse in this way, just like a 10th, promise you the marriage would be better. But what was it like once Kelvin jumped on board and you guys started to work on it together? Because a lot of people, they might be afraid. They might feel like it's like two dragons in one cave kind of thing. But tell me about your experience.
Man, I don't know. I finally felt seen, really. I mean, we have a funny way, and I think all couples can relate to this, of enabling each other, right? And like convincing ourselves, like, man, it's Friday night. Let's go to McDonald's. You know, like making shit sound really sexy. Like, you know, let's, man, come on. You know?
Oh,
I
let
don't
me
know
watch
how,
you.
but
Let me watch you bite into that quarter pounder.
we started romanticizing Whataburger. Like, you know what I want? And we look at each other and be like,
Whataburger.
You got the drool just like.
Yeah.
Oh, and so we enabled each other a lot, and I think
Interesting.
kind of just finally click, like, yeah, if I'm weak or I'm having a weak moment, just, you know, depending on like what day it was or like how it aligns with our week and macros, you know, you have somebody on the same wave as you, so they're, you know, like that second thought, you know, they kind of, your intrusive thoughts might get to you, and so they're there to be like, no, you know, come on, let's stick to the course. um and then you just get creative with macros. We just started carrying shit in the house that was similar to what we would do outside in the wild. And so that was our pizza night, or that was our Whataburger. Like, we just, you know, we just pivot, I guess, and get things that were similar, so we still felt like we weren't missing out on anything, but still stayed on track. And that's just the beauty of MBS program. It wasn't like all or nothing, or you felt FOMO. So yeah, just like in short, just Kelvin jumping on board. I felt seen. I felt like I had a teammate, and I don't know. For me, I just do better with like a partner and just other people like chiming in. I'm the oldest of four, so like everything is just like a group effort for me.
Yeah.
And I don't like feeling alone with something, and that's okay. I don't have to do everything by myself. So
No,
I
I
think
love.
one thing you started doing, wait, excuse me, I'll make sure.
No,
You
you're
started telling me like sometimes you needed to go for a walk. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what I was doing in the house. If I'm coding, it doesn't matter like if I'm building something on the computer. It's like, you're like, I need to go for a walk right now. And I would just drop whatever I'm doing and we would go for a walk. So yeah, and it helped me out too. Like, even though I didn't feel like walking, I know she needed to go for a walk.
yeah.
So I would just get up and walk with her, no matter how long it was. Sometimes too long. I'm tired. Like, all right,
It's
come
like
on.
5 miles. He's like, hey,
Like,
can we go back home?
is this a 5K or what? You know, I've been
what
trying
are
to
we
get back.
doing? But
Yeah.
I love that. I love that it brought. You're like, you know, we were able to make like recreate date night, and it's like not like you couldn't go out to eat, but
Yeah.
it became a thing you guys did together, and it brought you closer together. Where in many cases, I feel like when typically the wife, you know, not the male counterpart, is working
Yeah.
on themselves, it pushes the divide there because you're not hyper focused, but you care passionately about this thing, and to do it alone is lonely. And I said it all the time. I said I was able to be selfish because bodybuilding is the most selfish and lonely sport in the world. I just point blank, bodybuilding and powerlifting are the most selfish and lonely sport in the world. I was the loneliest person in that time. And now that hearing you guys were like, I hear and I see your videos and all that, like you guys, the pizza night, I saw the pizza night with Kelvin eating the salad. Like, it brings you guys, it brought you close together. Kelvin, you said you get up and start walking with her at a time where prior she might go for a walk and you would just keep doing your thing. And I love that it brought you together because that's the stuff right there that's so much more important than any numbers that we can throw out there. We can throw out all the numbers, but that stuff is so much more important. As we start to come to a close, what was one moment where you saw each other differently? And Kelvin, I don't know where it was because I feel like you see Lenny's different every time, but like not just physically, but emotionally.
The moment is every day. I mean, I know you see him like, you know, and us posting him being a hype man, but like he'll tell you every morning, I'm like, damn, babe, look at your shoulder. Like, I will find something every day. And it's true because I'm watching him like transform. Oh my God, stop. And I'm just like, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Like, just seeing how much more confident he is in himself. And yeah, it's moments every single day. Every single day, like I watch him show up for himself, and he does the same for me. He's like, dang, like I see your waist shrinking. Like, oh, like I see, you know, we're each other's hype, man. And like it's gonna take every single day. It's not, you know, oh, every 3 months when we see like a significant change on the scale. Like, it's daily wins, and that's what keeps, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like that's what keeps us motivated.
Yeah.
It's just finding something to celebrate every day. Like, you were better than yesterday, even if it's 0.5%. So sorry, I'm a
Oh,
crier.
you're good. Oh, Lenise, you can make a little bookmark here because this is going to be your intro when you edit the YouTube. But Kelvin, it just like I know I see you being the hype man, but like I know that comes from a place that's much deeper. What is there a moment that you can remember where you're just like you felt that, and I'm going to assume that you just felt like that, like when I watch him, like you feel so much, you're so proud, like you're so, and I don't mean this in a weird way. When I watched Kennedy get her get up for a handstand this week, I was like, yes! I mean, I was a crazy dad. I'm like, I feel like that's the version, that's you, but with Lenise, but not a dad.
It was her just vocalizing you wanted to change. I remember
Ooh.
telling you, I said, like, I love you regardless, but if you do want to change something about you, I fully support it. I didn't know that she wanted to make those changes until she conveyed it to me. Because to me, I like, you look amazing, like you're my lady. I wouldn't change anything about you. But she said, like, I want to do this. I used to look like this, and I'm seeing old photos and videos, and I'm like, well, let's go for it. Like, I'm not stopping you. The jobs aren't stopping you. I'll stand out of your way if I am in your way, but we'll go after this together. So it's just her telling me, like, I want to make changes, and I did the same for her when I was changing careers. I was a full-time mechanic and now software engineer. I was like, I want to make a change in my own direction, and she's the same thing. Showing me about tech conferences and things like that, coding tutorials. That's why I'm where I am now, because she supported me. So I supported her the same way. Just yeah, you telling me just anything, especially the trainer, the negative experience with the trainer. I heard about that when we first met. I didn't know that she wanted to eventually want to find another trainer one day. But when she said, I want to make these changes, I said, I'm down. Hold your hand along the way.
You got me there. I'm gonna hit you with one question that if you guys made it this far, make sure you listen to this question. And if you guys aren't comfortable answering, don't answer. It's okay. I'm speaking from personal experience because I'm speaking from when I'm at my worst or out of shape or just where I don't feel in control. I don't feel as willing to initiate sex.
Oh yeah.
For the two of you as a couple, and if you don't feel comfortable talking about, you don't have to, but do you feel like your sex life has changed since you guys started working towards yourself together? No.
I don't think so.
That's Kelvin's fault. Let me rephrase it, because Kelvin's just like, you're my lady. Like I get that. But Lenise, as a woman, and like I can resonate with that because like I've been again at my what I thought was my peak, and now being like a dad, I'm like, oh, like, I'm like a little more self-conscious when I let things slip, and then when I feel more in control, I'm like, okay, I feel great. Like let's go. Lenise, for you, do you feel like anything has changed for you in terms of how you feel?
I just feel more confident as a woman. I mean, it's sex. It's not like taboo. Everybody's doing it.
Yes.
No, I mean, I feel more accepted in my own body, and I don't feel like I'm I feel like I have to like hide as much. For one, I mean, when I met Kelvin, I never felt like that, but even more, I could see what he sees, like what I couldn't see before. He's always thought I was beautiful, but I could see that version now that he's always seen, and I don't know. I would just say in translation, just being more confident. Just like that's really all I can.
I love it. You give a little giggle. I was like, yeah, come on, Lenise. I was like, Kelvin, you're right. I was like, Kelvin, I'm like, that's the wrong thing. Because I'm like, you look at Lenise, you're just like, like I get that. Jennifer, last night we're on FaceTime. I kept saying, baby, I was like, your eyes are so green. They're just so beautiful. They're just that was like I was like, I don't know if it's like her. She had like a little waffle shirt on. And it was like green. I was like, I just kept saying it. She's like, babe, it's just my eyes. It's just my eyes. Okay. But like when I see Kelvin, he's just like, ooh. I'm like, yeah, right. I get it. Like you're not crazy. I promise. I get it. Ask Jennifer how many times they smack her butt. All right, let's wrap this up. First of all, the two of you, I thank you so much for coming on here. I love that you guys let me like dig in a little bit. If you guys haven't, make sure you go follow them on social media. I'm gonna hit you with one really quick question. Please do me a favor, plug your social media for everybody because they are just damn adorable.
We are Love at First Sight, and the site is spelled SITE_. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, yes, forever, and YouTube as well.
Elle, you got what's your pivot princess _?
Okay, yeah. Well, my first look, I'm like hiding it, but I have a personal just accountability account. It is Pivot Princess. Yeah, and _. Yeah, Pivot Princess _ on Instagram mostly. So
We love the pivot. One last question to lock this up. If you guys had to sum up what MBS has done for you personally and done for you guys as a couple in one sentence, what would it be?
It's gave me like a permanent life compass. Like no matter what I'm doing, and I'm always gonna find the good in the situation. You know what I mean? And just pivot and redirect. I mean, it could be someone, family or friends, or oh, I shouldn't eat that there. That's bad. Like my friend today, we're in like an accountability group because we're going to Bali at the end of this year. And she like texting the group said, I ate terrible this weekend. I gotta clean it up this week. And I corrected her. I said, you didn't eat terrible. You probably ate more calories than your body needed, and you're gonna realign and adjust. And she's like, damn, girl, okay. But like it just gave me a compass for life. Like no matter, just look on the bright side of everything. Like I don't know. You can't feel guilt.
You didn't eat terrible. You enjoyed yourself. Did you have a good weekend? You had a great weekend. Great. That's what you did. You had a great weekend. Kelvin.
I would say just one word is perspective. It just changed my outlook on food. And it's like, waking up in the morning. I'm excited to count my macros. I know like I got my meals planned out for the day. I know I'm going to hit my, 1688 or 1714, whatever my macros are that day. I'm excited to do it. Got all my chicken measured out. I love cooking. I got my family on board. They're like, how do you do that macro thing with I got my mom. She's like putting a bowl down, then cutting on the scale. So now I put the chicken in. I'm like, yeah, like it's not, it's simple. I got my mom, my aunt. I love helping other people now, just reaching their goals, and we got everybody in the house doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Just whole perspective has shifted.
I love that so much. I love that. You said you're like, I'm excited for food. And there's so many of them, so many people, so many women we talk to all the time that are absolutely freaking terrified of food. And I don't blame them. I was terrified of food too. They've been made to be terrified of food. And we're like, no. Let's just change this a little bit. Or start with some language changes. No cheat meals. Junk food, that's not a phrase that Kennedy said that the other day. I was like, no, Mama. I was like, it's not junk food. I was like, do you eat trash? She's like, no. I was like, okay. I was like, what are cookies? She goes, junk food. I was like, so you're eating trash? She goes, Daddy, I don't eat trash. I said, so cookies aren't junk because junk is like trash. I said, they're fun food. So now, Daddy, can we have some fun food for dessert? Yeah, baby, we got some fun food for dessert.
And
absolutely.
that, I will leave with that. I mean, we don't have children yet, but that's something I was telling Kelvin the other day. You just saying that made me think about it's like, they're going to just, if we do have children, like they're just going to be on such a better start than we were, or hell, any millennial, you know what I mean? It's just, damn, like I'm just so excited to just teach them like just how to look at it in just a positive way and not use any of those words that shit ended most of us up here, in a spiral and just unlearning a lot of things. So I'm excited about that.
If you guys have children and you're worried about weighing your food around your kids and how it's going to impact them, 1000% get it. When I built Nutrition Builds Strength, that was one of the biggest reasons I built it the way I did, because Kennedy wasn't born yet. She was on the way. And I thought the way I was behaving with food as a bodybuilder and powerlifter, there was no way I was going to do that around my daughter and make her even more susceptible to all the things that she's going to go through for being a woman when it comes to food. So how do I build something that's going to make this a healthy experience, not just for our members, but for my daughter growing up? Nutrition Builds Strength, please make sure you give these two some love, because I definitely dug in more than I ever have on a community conversation. You two, love you guys.